Hello, football fans. Welcome back to another episode of Hurdle the Line. Good to have you with us, guys. This will be your week. Is it 14 or 15, guys?
15.
We are week 15 review show. I always am like 1 week off just because of the way how many fantasy teams I'm in. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm your host, Chapman. Welcome back to another episode. And with me, as always, are my two football uh, brothers from a different mother, Ollie and Tom. How are we, gentlemen?
Could be better.
It's an audio format, guys. That means you have to. Yes, you could be. Yeah, Tom.
Very well. Very well.
Yeah, Tom.
Definitely did not have my mic on mute there.
Tom. We will do some therapy with you in this episode. Don't worry. Rough weekend for you, and we all know why. But we love you, Tom, and we're glad you're here. Thank you for showing up. Uh, Ollie, just hurtling towards some top pick. I'm very excited for you. I don't even have that to look forward to. But I must point out, first time in the 2 seasons we've been doing this, that the Atlanta Falcons, my team, wins on week 15 and everybody else's team loses. Uh,
Yes.
the first time. I'm sure it won't happen ever again, but I'm very grateful. We beat the Bucks, and all we can do is root for the Rams getting not a top 10 pick, but we will see. And Raheem Morris being fired. Moving on. Let's just say this really quick. There's a lot of bad things happening in the world as we head towards the holidays. Multiple mass shootings around the world. The death of a very famous director who I admire, Rob Reiner. All I want to say is two things. As we head towards the holidays, please make sure you're taking care of yourself and loving the people that you love. Be with friends, be with family if you can, and then also do the things you enjoy. And what we enjoy on Heard of the Line is watching football. It's the thing that unites us and makes us happy, even though we love arguing about things. In the end, we all love this game a whole lot, and it's brought us a lot of joy and pain. But
Mostly pain.
honestly, the last 2 years for me personally have been really rough, and I've really appreciated the fact that Fletch and Tom and Ollie have let me into their lives a little bit, and we get to sit around for an hour or more and chat about football. And we get to help support Tom today, who's in a place he's never been as a Chiefs fan. So, and I don't say that glibly, I just say that as so anyway. But yeah, and do something nice for somebody else. That's all I would tell you during this thing. All right, let's move on, guys. The big news this over the weekend was there was a ton of injuries, most notably two-time MVP, three-time Super Bowl winning quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes left the game last night, and we found out later it's a torn ACL. Tom, we know this is a 9 to 10 month injury, so we're looking at October is the earliest time. We know Mahomes
Yeah, like
extra.
late September, early
Yeah.
October sort of timeline. Obviously, yeah, the worst sort of way to, I mean, if the season's going to end, you want it to kind of end, but you don't want it to be your franchise pillar quarterback, to be, helped up the tunnel with while driving down the field to try and win the game. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be a bit of a retooling off season for the
Yeah.
Chiefs, that's for sure.
Um, One of the things to think about is Patrick Mahomes has had the greatest 7 years, 7 seasons. This is eighth season, right?
This is his ninth season.
19, sorry. Well, okay. Admittedly, this is the greatest 9 seasons, I think, of any quarterback that we know outside of Tom Brady. But even though he's got one more MVP and I believe one more Super Bowl appearance, but three wins, um, and tons of records. The talent is crazy, and it it's just, there's a lot of wear and tear with the way he plays. And I honestly, Tom, while you don't want to hear this, I think it's good for them to have like, look, you're not going to want to not try to go for the playoffs next year or win Super Bowls, whatever it is. That's fine. But man, this team just felt like it was getting old and tired and needs some sort of reinvention. And while you don't want an ACL tear for that to be the catalyst for it, but you are where you are at this point, now it kind of forces you to be able to figure out what the Chiefs 2.0 are going to be after this. So,
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. I think it's almost you hate to say it's a blessing in disguise because you never wish injury on anyone, but I just think it gives the Chiefs a chance to actually reevaluate this offseason, the most important, positions available, and how to remake this roster so, it's best suited. So, not all of the, responsibility just lands on Mahomes on every single play.
That's right. Yep. Well, we wish Mahomes a quick recovery because football is better with him in the league, and good luck to that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that game here in a bit. Uh, Also, on the other side, not the best defensive player, because Myles Garrett is the best defensive player in the NFL, but the second best, arguably the second best defensive player in the NFL, Michael Parsons, who was traded in the offseason for two first round picks and some other stuff from the Cowboys, which everybody thought was crazy. He's been having a great year for Green Bay. Not a defensive player of the year, but a great year. Very much worth the trade. He also tears his ACL in a loss um, to the team I can't think of right now.
The
Sorry,
Denver
guys.
Broncos.
Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos, who are the number one seed in the AFC. Sorry. And also will be on a similar timeline. And the hard thing about this is while the Chiefs, with the loss yesterday, are out of the playoffs, the Green Bay Packers were very much a Super Bowl contender, which is something we're going to talk about later today. And this is a huge hit for them and their chances. Um, I like Michael Parsons a lot. And honestly, as somebody who has Kyle Pitts on his team instead of Michael Parsons, and there's so many sliding doors for me between Jamar Chase, Penei Sewell, and him. Um, but yeah, it's really unfortunate for Green Bay, and you hate to see it. Ollie, you said something today. You're like, the trade was still right, but it really stinks. It
Yeah,
really stinks.
if I could have a magic ball that said he's going to tear his ACL, I'd probably still make the trade because
100%.
it's Micah Parsons and today's modern medicine, and these it's not quite the career ender that it used to be. These guys come back from this injury, even though it is quite a lengthy timetable. But yeah, it's obviously still such a massive gut wrench for Packers fans going into the playoffs. It feels like they've had so many times over the years where they have to stumble into the playoffs because they lose a key player, and this is just another one of those years where their best player, not just best defensive player, he's their best player. And you say defensive player, like if Myles Garrett doesn't exist, he probably is defensive player of the year. He's having that good of a year. It's just that Myles Garrett exists and is obviously having the year that he's having. So yeah, massive, massive loss for the Packers.
That's very true. Then that is very fair. Um, Yeah, it really stinks. Also, Christian Watson went out of that game, but it looks like he's going to be okay. And he's been an important piece to that Green Bay offense over the last. It's interesting to me because I think that Green Bay team, it's going to be a lot on Jordan Love now. I mean, they still kind of have the talent. The NFC outside of the Rams, which we're good. Look, we're going to spend some time talking about contender and to get through. But yeah, it's very interesting. The greatest thing about this season, which we haven't had in a while, is it is wide open, man. And we're definitely, I mean, I personally don't think the Eagles are going to win. I really do believe we're going to have a new Super Bowl champion this year. And it's going to be very exciting to see how that all plays out. Okay, guys, should we jump into these games really quick?
Sure.
All right. We're gonna go first with the game that everybody had penciled going into week 15, which again, I'll just say this. There was a lot of hubbub about week 15 being the greatest slate in modern NFL history and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, it was fine. There were some good games. I didn't stay up late. But I will say the best game of the day, which we all were looking forward to, was the Buffalo Bills um, playing in New England against the Patriots, and they win 35 to 31 after going down 24 to 7 in the first half or in part of the first half of this game. And all I'm going to say is I'm sorry. You can go ahead and just give Josh Allen the MVP at this point. Like again, because I don't, look, I'm not saying the Bills are the world beaters right now, but like he is singularly the best football player in the NFL right now. And like he's willing his team to win. I think Ali might disagree with me at this point because I can see his eyes and his mouth. But guys, what did you think about this win?
Do you want to start off, Ollie, or should I?
Go.
Yeah. Well, they had to come back from adversity, that's for sure, when you go down 21 nothing to start the game. But yeah, he played lights out in this game. Of course he did. James Cook also had a great game. I will push back on that just in the sense that I mean, yeah, he is playing incredible. I think I would still pick Matt Stafford just because he's having such an incredible season with the Rams. And yeah, I know it's kind of he's had a few more turnovers of late, but they're still the number one seed in the NFC. And they showed on Sunday why to me, they're the Super Bowl favorites in my eyes. Like I think it will be a Rams Bills Super Bowl. I think that's what we're headed towards. Barring any, big setbacks or whatever. But yeah, incredible. Yeah, he could just take over a game. Like you get players like this. Um, you don't get them a lot, in the generation, and he is a generational player. So anytime, it doesn't matter if you're 21 nothing down when you got Josh Allen on the field.
Yeah, and now they climb to within one game of the division. So they still play the Patriots one more time, or have they played?
No,
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 that's
they
it.
lost.
They've
They
already
lost the
played.
first one. They won this
Okay, yeah.
one.
Yeah, I remember
So
Stephon Diggs had that crazy game.
oh yeah, so it obviously depended on tiebreakers, as I said. But obviously, 3 games left, go within one game of the division. Still, they lost this game. That was probably the division.
I
They
think
were.
it would have been that they literally had the hats and t-shirts
There
and
we go.
stuff
So
already, like
yeah,
ready to
yeah.
go if they won this game.
And if
So
that was the case, then obviously the Buffalo Bills would have just been thinking about secure. And obviously, with what happened with the Chiefs going out and how the wild card shaping off, they would pretty much, they would probably could have railed it in a little bit to end the last 3 games of the season. But now the vision is right there in front of them to go and win it. You obviously want a home game every chance you can in the playoffs. So big win for them, massive comeback. Josh Allen, obviously, as you said, great. Drake May had probably one of his worst games of the year, you could argue, especially stat wise. But yeah,
Being my playoff team.
pardon. Oh,
My
sorry, yeah, your fantasy, yeah, yeah.
You write him all year, and then he's like,
yeah, of
shout
course,
out to
always the way,
Travion
always the
Henderson.
way. I mean, he
Shout
did
out
have
to
two. He did have two rushing touchdowns and 40 rushing yards, wherever it was. Obviously, shout out Trevion Henderson,
yeah,
Buckeye,
incredible.
having a great game. 14 carries, 148
How
yards,
fast is that guy? Because
"Oh
anytime he
man,
just
touchdown.
what a
gets in the open
touchdown that was!"
field, I'm just like, he's gone.
That's 4.3 speed right there. Well, 4.4, low 4.4 speed. Yeah, I mean,
Where do you go to uni?
the Ohio State University. Um, Obviously national champion as well. So shout out to him. Obviously having a much better time than his teammate Quinshon Judkins is running behind traffic cones over in Cleveland. So yeah, big win for Buffalo on obviously division right there. This is going to be interesting to see how the division shapes up in the rest of the final 3 weeks of the season.
Tom, I just want to push back a little bit. I want to make a couple of different things. First of all, you're never going to hear me say anything bad about Matthew Stafford. Georgia Bulldog gave me a lot of love, and he's just a good dude. Also, best friends with Matt Ryan, weirdly enough. Anyway,
Did not know that.
your eyes just went back in the back of your head, Ollie, when I said that. Anyway, here's what I would say: Josh Allen does not have Sean McVay behind him. He has Sean McDermott,
Yeah,
who
yeah,
is who
yeah.
we can have we in the offseason we can talk a lot about Sean McDermott. I would also say this: if you're trying to compare the rosters in terms of their like pass catchers, running backs, anything outside of like Josh Allen's got Cook, and that is it. Like he and
I know,
like
but can he win the MVP again just for the same thing that he did last year? Because that
I
was the
know.
exact same narrative
here's my
of that
thing.
he didn't have any wide receivers. He just
Also,
had James Cook.
Stafford's never won it, so
Yeah.
this is his final chance. If we're being real,
So
because I know.
I get what you're saying, Chapman. And if he hadn't won it last year with the same precedent,
Anyway,
people
this
would say
doesn't. We're gonna,
that.
guys. We're gonna have this discussion in the weeks coming up.
Yes.
MVP debates. We're gonna have that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
discussion. Let's not have that now. But obviously, yes, big win for Josh Allen and the
Big
Bills.
win too. Ollie's just moving us along. All right. Well, let's talk about the next game, which is the Lions went to LA and got defeated 41-34. The Rams get a big win. They now look like they're going to be the number one seed in the NFC, though there's still some games to play. Um, yeah, great offensive performance by the Rams. The Detroit defense just seems to just not be where we thought it would be with Dan
Mm.
Campbell and the Tim. And the offense just could not keep up with the Rams.
They
Really fun
almost did
game.
though.
It was a great no. I mean, nothing to give him, but still, I mean, you give up 41 points, like you
This
lose.
was a blockbuster game. Like to me, I preferred watching this game to be honest than the Bills. I mean, yeah, I don't like watching the Patriots anyway, to be honest. But um, watching this game, it was so back and forth, especially in the first half. The Lions were up 24-14 at one point, and it looked like they might kind of get away. But then the Rams come right back, and then they take the lead, and then when they end up taking the lead, they never relinquish it. And there was some incredible plays in this game from Puka Nacua. He had an early drop, but he was lights out in this game. 9 receptions, 181 yards, which is the most he's had in a game.
Crazy.
I mean, to me, when I see him like as a total receiver, I think he's the best receiver in the league, like right now, anyway. But well, I mean, obviously Jackson Smith and Jigba is doing his thing as well. So I would say it's kind of the between those two right now. Um, but yeah, what else to say about this game? I mean, Aiden Hutchinson made an incredible play on the first drive as well, picking off Matt Stafford, and then they went down for a touchdown. And Aaron Ross St. Brown was dominant in this game as well. But it was a case of, as you said, Chapman, the defense for the Lions just wasn't able to hold up against that Rams, juggernaut offense. And there was that injury as well for Devontae Adams.
I mean, and Amon St. Brown also had an awesome game with 1,364 yards, 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, I think that the key to this game was the Rams were actually running the ball,
Mm.
whereas Jamar Gibbs, only 38 yards after having and scoring 3 touchdowns last week. And then you have Kyron Williams, 78 yards, but 2 touchdowns. And it just felt like they were able to control the game in the second half that way. So, but yeah, Ollie, you didn't get to watch much of this one, did you?
I saw it. Yeah, I saw it coming through. Saw the scores and etc. And then got to see the end of the game and how it ended, and obviously how the Rams pulled away from it. But I mean, just to echo pretty much what you guys. I mean, this was a big game for Detroit. Obviously, a much bigger game for Detroit than it was the Rams, because the Rams are going for they've got to be the 1 or 2 seeds, whether they lose this game or not. Whereas obviously Detroit have got their playoffs hopes pretty much on the line going into this game. They saw the Bears win, um, and obviously the Packers game was going on at the same time, but obviously they knew they needed a win in this game. So obviously them not being able to get the win is tough for them. But I will just say I love Puka Nacua, but kind of to go back to what Chapman said earlier, give Jamar Chase Sean McVay.
Mm.
And I think we would not be saying Puka Nacua is better. Do you know what I mean? But I completely agree. Like Puka Nacua is a great wide receiver.
I mean, but also at
Hopefully
the
he's
same
okay.
time, Sean McVay doesn't, his hands don't just, magically appear there when he makes
No,
those
no,
catches. That's
but
what I'm saying.
the amount of times where he's catching the ball with green grass in front of him
Yeah,
because Sean
yeah,
McVay
yeah,
has steamed
true,
him wide open, whereas obviously Jamar Chase has got Zach Taylor
mm,
trying to steam him open.
true.
But
Yeah,
no,
yeah, I do
let's
hear
not
that.
get into an argument between the two wide receivers. But I mean, I suppose one worry for the Rams defensively is that yes, you could argue it's because they were obviously down late in the game, obviously as well. But Jared Goff threw a lot of yards on them. 300 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamin Williamson went absolutely crazy on their secondary. Had like 300 yards between them. So if there's one concern for the Rams coming from this game, it is that. But I think overall, as you said, Tom, they look like the number one team in the NFL right now, and this was a tough loss for the Lions, and they pretty much need to win out, I would say now, to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Currently they're sitting at the 8 seed uh, right now. So we shall see. We'll talk a little bit more about seeding here in a bit. Moving on, the other big storyline that we all were talking about was obviously 44-year-old Philip Rivers coming out of retirement after 5 years
Yeah.
to be the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. They go into Seattle. Seattle, who has also been having a great year out in the NFC West and has one of the better defenses in the NFL. And ultimately, they win 18-16 over the Colts. Um, this one was fine.
I mean, yeah,
It
It was
was
a
yeah,
good end.
fine.
It was a good
I
ending.
mean,
It
good
was the
ending. Yeah,
best. It was the best setup ending we could have asked for. We got Philip Rivers coming 5 years, as you said. I mean, it was like over 1,000 days since he's last played in the NFL.
he's a
He
grandfather.
he was about to get selected for the Hall of Fame selection. This coming year, his clock now resets, and he's got another 5 years to wait. He's a
He's not
grandfather.
a first ballot Hall of Famer. No way.
No, probably not. But as you said, obviously he's a grandfather. Smartly, his the insurance for NFL players lasts for 5 years. That extends to your family members. He has 10 children. So he is probably saving himself a good $30,000-$40,000 a month on insurance for the next 5 years just by playing in this game. So I'm sure
smart
there were
move.
I'm sure there were ulterior motives towards doing it, but shout out to him. Don't get me wrong, only 120 yards, one touchdown. There were some passes that looked like my grandma threw them. There were some plays that looked like my grandma was out there. But as I said, it was set up perfectly. Philip Rivers to have a game-winning drive. He was able to get him in a field goal range. They score the field goal. I'm thinking, go on, Philip Rivers. Someone that, when all of us probably, well, Chapman, not you, obviously, be watching the NFL a lot longer than us, but me and Tom, when we got into the NFL, watching Philip Rivers on the Chargers, and you're thinking, go on, and obviously you, Chapman, you watched his whole career, and you're thinking, go on, Philip Rivers. He got the field goal, and then Seattle just drove straight back down the field and just got the field goal and basically ruined all of it. And it was like, oh, right, cool.
And
Uh,
shout out to Jason Myers as well. Six
Yeah,
field
yeah,
goals for the Seahawks, and he's been an absolute, amazing player for them this season. Uh, missed barely any kicks, and he made six in a row in this one, including the game winner. So they didn't actually score a touchdown, but even was it called Sam Darnold, who hasn't played great of late. He didn't really put the ball in harm's way too much in that game. I mean, but he got the ball to Jackson Smith and Jigba, another 100-yard game for him. Still leads the league in receiving yards. So even though Seattle was held out of the end zone, their defense was still able to come up and fair play to them for managing to eke out the win. But yeah, it was a shame. I would have loved to have seen Philip Rivers get that win and been like, I got it on the sidelines. So
well, I'm just going to tell you both. I'm the exact same age as Philip Rivers.
love
I
that.
can tell you this: I would not want to go out there and get hit by any.
Chapman, I think it's a credit to you because that is a former NFL player, and you look much younger and
oh yeah.
much better shape than Philip Rivers does,
Well,
who just went and played an NFL game.
He
well,
looked
let me
like he'd had
let me
seven
just say
beers and then
this.
got out there, to be fair.
Philip and I are both Southerners, and I've never met a Southern man. Like usually Midwesterners are Catholic and they like having multiple children, but Philip Rivers wasn't taught in the same Southern school of. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Um, it would be a good hurdle, though. What I want to say. Anyway, um, I'm excited to watch Philip Rivers for 3 more weeks. It'll be fun. I
Yep.
love anytime I crack Ollie up a little bit makes me feel just 5 years younger. So that's what I love. Tom, should we talk? Should we get into your game real quick that you got real excited about in the pregame talk, the pre-show talk? Do we need to talk about this game? Let's do it.
Okay.
The Vikings go into Dallas and they get a win, 34-26. They take down the mighty Cowboys, who were hoping to keep their playoff chances alive, but they dead now.
Yeah.
JJ McCarthy gets the win. What was exciting about this game, Tom? Please tell us in 90 seconds or less.
Okay. JJ McCarthy actually looked pretty good in this game. I know obviously it's the Dallas defense, but they've improved of late. But they turned it back into a bit of a pumpkin in this game. Minnesota was able to run the ball. And once they got a lead, they never really looked back. And it was an off night from Brandon Aubrey as well. He missed two
Yeah.
kicks, both from 51 and I think 47 yards, something like that. So,
Yeah.
makeable kicks for him, and he missed both of them. So that was kind of unusual to see. And when that went awry, it just felt like it wasn't going to be the Cowboys' night, even though they haven't been mathematically eliminated from.
Less than 1% of
Yeah,
it.
they're at
Yeah.
less than 1% now. So, they need to win out, and they need the Eagles to lose out, and they're playing the Commanders in two of those games. So I don't think the Cowboys are making it to the playoffs.
What what happened? I thought, I mean, Dak was having like, he was borderline an MVP candidate,
Mm,
a few months ago, and it's like I really thought that they could ride him because I mean he has that talent.
yeah. It's kind of cooled off though the
And then George
offense
Pickens
the
is
last
nowhere
couple
to
of
be
weeks,
seen
like the
now.
game against Detroit, and then this game, it just wasn't quite clicking as it has done the last few games to put them back into somewhat contention. So this was kind of the game where the straw broke the camel's back. And JJ McCarthy with his own gritty impersonation on the way into the end zone. So that was quite funny to watch.
Yeah. Well, oh, I forgot. There was a game before this I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about this really quick, which was the game where Michael Parsons gets hurt, but the Broncos make it 11 in a row and
Yep.
win 34 to
Something like that.
26. Uh, and they are the number one seed in the AFC. I believe Bo Nix has his best game as
Yeah.
a pro. And
Yep.
if you've been listening to the pod at all, Ollie and I have a shared love of hating on Bo Nix, but I'm going to go the other way now. I think he can win a Super Bowl with Bo Nix
Damn.
which is something I
Damn.
do want to talk about. I mean, maybe it's not for this pod because I know we might lose Ollie early, but we need to talk about
Talking about the NFC, you mean?
no, let's talk about like the quarterbacks that can win at Super Bowl. Anyway,
Hmm.
the Bronco, I mean, despite Sean Payton doing some weird ass fourth down shit in this game, made no sense when you have one of the best. I'm going to tell you, he did this stuff as a Saints coach too. Like he did do this stuff, and he never got called for it because he had Drew Brees and who knows what. But anyway, um, the Broncos seem like the team of destiny in terms of just the first seed. What do you think, Tom? You're the AFC West expert.
Yeah, I mean they look pretty for real in this game. Their defense played great. Pat Surtain made a great play on an interception. It was actually the play that Christian Watson also got injured on. But he came up with an incredible interception there that was massive for them, especially at a point in the game where it looked like the Packers might be able to take control. But that kind of switched the momentum of the game, and much as it has been for this season, the Broncos in the third and fourth quarter have performed very, very well this season, and that proved to be the case again. As you said, Bo Nix, best game of his career, made some really clutch throws, especially down the stretch. I think there was some third down, they converted first down towards the end of the game, and that kind of sealed it. So yeah, was very impressed by Bo Nix in this one. And as you say, the Broncos, they secured a playoff spot as well with this win. So yeah.
Yeah. All right, we got two more games. One that has playoff implications, the other one which has more NFL history implications, which I'm going to go with first. The Bears beat the Browns 31 to 3. However, Myles Garrett gets another sack and a half. Was
Well,
was
I mean,
officially two sacks, but then was ruled a half sack.
yeah, yeah, should have been 2 sacks, but the NFL, as always, trying everything they can to crap on the Cleveland Brown. No, I mean Shelby Harris fell over next to him and somehow got credited with the half sack, but he is now on 21 and a half sacks on the season, one away from tying the record. And then obviously 1.5 away from breaking the record. Was quite funny as well that he had a play in this game where, I mean, everyone remembers Michael Strahan's record-breaking sack, where Brett Favre just fell over and let him just touch him. Caleb Williams fumbled the snap, fell over, and obviously Myles Garrett was the first person to touch him. But they've obviously changed some of the rules since then, and that no longer counts as a sack. So it would have been funny for him to equal the record exactly the same way that Strahan did. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm not going to spend more than 10 seconds talking about the actual game itself. Shout out to the Bears. I hope they make the
No,
playoffs.
you need to talk about Caleb Williams, who had a great day.
Caleb was good in this game. This is what I mean. I'm sat there watching this game and all the talk about quarterbacks with the Browns, etc., etc. All the talk about draft and everything. Should you draft a quarterback? Whatever, whatever. Um, you watch this game. You even last week, to be honest, the Titans game, and you're like, yeah, that's what a that's what the first overall pick at quarterback looks like. That's what a top five pick at quarterback looks like. We don't have one of those. That's what it looks like, and that's kind of what you take away from that. So yeah, the win helps the Browns draft position. We didn't get any help this weekend from any of the other teams, but the Raiders still play the Giants. Titans still play the Chiefs next week, who I mean, who knows how deflated they might be as a team.
Hey, man,
Hopefully,
the Titans played tough this week.
exactly. So there's still very. I think I saw earlier the
They're not going to
analytical.
draft a quarterback, though, but they would trade it away. So
That's the worry is that then obviously a team could jump the Browns if for that Titans pick. But
I just don't think you guys are worse than the Raiders. I think the Raiders are the biggest piece of PO.
Yeah, I agree.
so do I. But I'll be happy with the second pick because I'm happy with two of these guys. But no, obviously the Browns I think have now the second best chance to get the number one pick behind the Raiders. That's what we're, that's my Super Bowl. Getting a top two pick, Myles Garrett breaking
I
the
hate for
record,
Mendoza to go to the daggum
Mm.
Ravens.
and yeah, so would I. And obviously Carson Schwarzenegger winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. I think this is the 12th out of 14 games where he's led the team in tackles. So as a rookie, so shout out to him. And yeah,
Did they do AFC and NFC, right?
I,
Rookie of the years.
I think it's just defensive and offensive, isn't it?
Guys, not okay. Well,
But
yeah, I have a strong argument on my side too. So
oh,
I,
for sure, for sure.
I was gonna say there was one thing from this game was one of the throws to the end zone that Caleb Williams made, and it was just
Oh,
a kind
ridiculous.
of
Yeah.
I'm confident enough to make this throw. It was ridiculous. It was across his body. There was like three defenders around it, and DJ Moore comes up with it. But like that's just like when you're confident, when you're that's the sort of throw that you can make when you got that sort of talent. So, and he even said it after the game. He was like, "Yeah, I can make that throw."
man. Also DeAndre shout out to DeAndre Swift, 2 touchdowns, 98 yards.
Having a
Uh
great season. Yeah.
do we want to talk anything about Shador at all?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Shador did not play great in this game. He obviously showed flashes. He had a couple of deep passes to Bond that every week now he's had a few of those passes. He actually leads I think he either leads or he's second in 40 plus yard passing plays since he became the starter in the NFL. So you are
Wow.
seeing those flashes. You are seeing what the good traits that people talked about coming out. Obviously, that deep ball, etc., etc. So you are seeing those flashes, and I do have to always preference that you know it, he got thrown into a very unfair situation, and so did Dylan Gabriel. Two mid to late round picks that were basically told, right, you've got 5 or 6 games on a very terrible team to try and show something to stop us from drafting a quarterback. So it's just an unfair situation all round. But yeah, if you're a fan of Shadur, you can take away the good things from this game. Obviously, if you're not a fan of Shadur, etc., then obviously you can point to the bad things in this game. But it's obviously going to be a story nonetheless because it is Shadur Sanders, and that's what you have to deal with as a Browns fan. As a minute is no one wants to talk about anything else on the team. It's just obviously Shadur Sanders, but that goes with drafting Shadur Sanders.
Colts, 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 Colts. You remember that? All right, here we go. I'm gonna run through some scores, and we can play, Pop. What is it? Papa Mole? Papa Mole? Yeah, Papa Mole. Which one do we talk to? Bengals lose to the Ravens 24-0. The Bengals have been blanked twice this season, which I think is oh no, sorry. It's the That's not right. Bengals do lose to the Ravens 24-0. They're done. Eagles in a get right game beat the Raiders 31-0. The Raiders now are the first team in like a bajillion years in the NFL to score no points in a game twice in a season, get blanked.
83 total yards.
83 total yards. Texans kicked the crap out of the Cardinals 40-20. And then finally, the Jags 48-20 over the Jets. As we all have heard, Trevor Lawrence has 6 touchdowns in this game. And they are looking like they're going to be the third seed, I think, in the AFC, if I'm not mistaken. And then finally, well, not finally, Giants lose to the Commanders 29-21. And then the last two games, which had playoff ramifications, was the Chiefs losing to the Chargers 13-16. Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs. And then the Panthers losing to the Saints 20-17 after Tampa Bay losing to Atlanta on Thursday night. The Panthers could have got a game up, but now it's even Stevens with 2 games in hand with both of those teams over the next 3 weeks. Where should we go, guys? I know I just threw a total smorgasbord
I
at
was going to say about the Texans game, I've been really impressed with CJ Stroud of late. I think since he's come back, I think he's really taken command of that offense. And I think we're seeing more of what we saw of him in his rookie year. And I just hope that continues. I think Nico Collins had maybe 2 touchdowns in this game.
Nico was crazy.
He was crazy in this. He had a great touchdown pass. I think it was like 60 yards. He like ran around like 3 different people and went in. So he was an absolute nuisance in this game. But yeah, shout out to CJ Stroud. And then eventually I will talk about the lamenting of the 2025 Kansas City Chiefs.
We'll allow. We'll allow. Um, I just like to say, look, the NFC South gets a lot of crap, deservedly so. But dadgum, it's an entertaining watch. Even when, the Saints are horrible, but they are
Nobody
still
wants to
actually
win
fun.
it.
Nobody wants to win it, but they're still fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie, I hate the Saints, but that Tyler Slaw is like, I mean,
He's
Tyler Shock
hooping.
is like he's playing, man.
He is.
And
We
like
we said it, yeah, yeah.
so, look,
Ollie's having to eat his words a little bit with the
Oh, I've already
with
said it on this podcast. I said, was it last week or the week before? I might, you know what? I might have been the first one to come out and say it. That's how much I ate my words with Tyler Shirt. That he is playing very well. I've been very impressed with Tyler Shirt in what I've seen from him this season. Obviously, him
his
getting a win.
scrambling is really impressive as well, to be
He's
honest.
hooping.
Yeah.
And,
I
but
think Dart should watch his film to see how to do these things.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
not go
yeah,
out with 5 concussions in the season.
yeah. I don't think Dart's gonna make it to year 5 or
I
7.
also think that was a great play call though from Kellen Moore, getting him to slide, and then he gets the late hit, or he
Yeah.
gets the
Oh, yeah,
hit
the late
to the
hit.
head, and then gets the easy. And then shout out to Charlie Smythe as well. The
Yep.
Irish kicker that kicked the game winner from
Oh
the
yeah, the
International
Irish
Pathway
kicker.
program. So
Yep.
yeah, that was incredible. So shout out to Charlie Smythe.
If it was any other team, I'd be very excited about it, but it's the daggum Saints.
I have no idea what the Cardinals are doing. I mean, they're going to move on from Kyler Murray. I'm guessing they're going to sack
Kyler Murray's
coach.
going to be a Falcon.
Don't really, yeah, probably don't really know what they're doing. What other games did we say? Because obviously we'll save.
We got we got the Eagles finally got a win after they're getting
They're
off.
playing the Raiders.
Literally nothing to say about that game other than the Raiders are the worst team in the NFL. We'll save the Chiefs for last for Tom to have his
Oh,
moment.
the Jags. I mean,
The Jags, obviously, Tom can have his moment as well because obviously
Ollie could point it out now.
you mentioned eating words, Tom, and obviously the resident Trevor Lawrence hater. How do you feel about his 6 touchdowns?
Yeah,
Performance?
don't get me wrong, it's against the Jets, but still, he was absolutely balling out in this game. He ran for 1, 3 for 5, some of the throws as well into tight windows. He's really impressed me the last few weeks, and as have I don't think anyone really wants to play this Jags team in January the way that they're playing right now. So,
damn, that is a foot that you see that now the Jaguars are playing well.
You cannot trust Trevor Lawrence in January.
They have taken Tom from they are going to lose in the first round. They are frauds to then, and now Tom is bought in. So well done to the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's how
I'm bought into Anthony Campanelli's defense. That's what I'm bought into.
Fair enough.
ETN also has 2 touchdowns on the day, or is it 3?
Yeah.
Well, see, this is why I hate NFL. What was it called? Fantasy football, because after on Red Zone they'll have the thing and it will have the fantasy points underneath, right? And like Travis Etienne, and it's got his thing, and it's more than Trevor Lawrence. And I'm like, well,
Mm.
he must have had a. So I looked at his stats, and I'm like, right, so that gets you more points than a quarterback having 6 fucking touchdowns.
Yeah,
How does that make
he
any
didn't even get that
sense?
many points. So I thought that
He
was an
he had
anomaly.
more points according to what it had on the red zone thing on
Really?
fantasy than Trevor Lawrence. So
Unless that was a problem with the red zone thing, because
well,
I
how does
looked
that
at it
make
and it
any
said
sense?
like 20 points, and I'm like, there's no way he got surely
Don't
six
get me wrong,
touchdowns.
it was only Joe. It was like Travis Etienne 22.03, and then it was Trevor Lawrence 21.9 something or something like it was
That's
very close.
insane,
That
man.
makes
But they
no
had him
sense.
ahead. But either way, Tom, how are you feeling about the Chiefs Giants?
Yeah. Like what?
Yeah. Next
Go on,
question.
open up, open up. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. This is a safe space, Tom.
How am I
Kind of say.
feeling?
Safe
Uh,
space.
Pretty, devastated in the sense that, I would rather this Chiefs team actually not make the playoffs the way that they were playing because I feel like the way they like, even when Mahomes was in there, he got the rushing touchdown and they were, he played well in that sense. But, this team has been a dysfunctional team all season long. Every time that they thought that they were getting going, they would, stumble like against the Jags, then they lost to the Bills, then it leads to, the Texans and, all the teams that they've lost to the Chargers twice now, the Chargers sweep them. Um, and yeah, I thought the Chiefs were going to win this game, up 13-3 at one point in this game. They got a great chance. But then the Chargers get the ball back and a great drive from Justin Herbert going down the field. Great throw to the end zone for some receiver I've never heard of. The first like catch he's ever made or something. Always happens. Um, so they then score a touchdown. It's what is it, 13-10 at the half. And then yeah, the Chargers go on well, they had a 16-0 run from 13-3 to 16-13. Chiefs going down the field. Looks like they might be able to, they get into field goal range. And then just as that's happening, Mahomes goes to scramble, gets hit. You see it pop. And I was nearly on my knees. I was stood there like, oh no, that's the season right now. So he then gets helped off the field. We already had injuries in this game, but I'm not going to talk about those. We still had a chance to win the game if not for Gardner Minshew throwing to Derwin James and not just kicking a field goal trying to go to overtime. But that's just the way it is, and yeah, just a disappointing way for
I
the Chiefs season to end.
I feel like I kind of cursed it in the moment where Gardner Minshew converts the third down, and I was like, Gardner Minshew saves the Chiefs season.
Yeah,
And literally the next
yeah.
play, he throws the interception. I was
I
like,
think you also said,
sorry.
and I agreed as well. You were like, "Yeah, Mahomes' legacy drive loading or
Yeah,
something."
yeah.
So,
Mahomes' legacy drive loaded, and then he tears his ACL.
and
So I
then he does his
definitely, yeah,
ACL.
yeah,
So,
definitely did not help that one. To be honest, Tom, I will admit that.
yes, yeah. So yeah, it's frustrating, disappointing, sad. I'm sad more for Patrick Mahomes and obviously the rest of the team. It's but they just haven't played well enough either. He's had to do everything, and obviously he hasn't been perfect, but he's led the team in rushing. I think from like 5 or 6 games this year. And if there's anything the Chiefs need to do this off season, it's retool, actually get a running game actually get some people on the D line
You,
that can go after people other than Chris Jones.
you mean
Probably
sign a
trade
running
Trent
back
McDuffie.
younger than
So yeah,
30 is what I
What's
think you
up?
meant. Sign a running back younger than 30, I think is what Tom
yeah,
meant,
yeah.
meant by meant by
Tyler
that.
Maybe
Algier will
lose
be
some of these
available.
games and go after Jeremiah Love. I would love that. So
Well, I think I mean you probably want to you're aiming for pick now, really, aren't you? I mean you
yeah.
currently own the 11th pick. That's probably what you're thinking. But one question I do have for you, uh, one last question I do have for you about this game, I suppose. But is this the last time we've seen Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes on a field together?
Uh,
Does Travis Kelce come back as someone that was probably already considering retirement? Let's
hmm.
be real. If you guys had won a Super Bowl this year, he was going to retire
Oh yeah,
1,000
100,
million percent. I don't think there
100%.
was any debate about that.
Yeah.
Even if you made the Super Bowl and lost, I think he probably still would have retired. Um, does he want to go into next season? Is he going to get motivated to go into next season, knowing that he hasn't got Mahomes to start the year, etc.? Like, do you
Hmm.
think this is the last time we've seen them
I
two?
think it very well could be. I think his production this year has actually been much better than it was last year. And I think he had a better year. Obviously, I know he's had some crucial drops, and he had the one that led to the Eagles interception. He had the one with the Texans where it bubbled up off his thing, and very un-Travis Kelce like. But I would edge towards that he won't retire, that he will come back. But he needs to, if that does happen, he needs to be, the third, fourth option. And they need to figure out what they're going to do with this receiver game because they can't be man coverage, and it hits out that if you hit Rasheed Rice pretty hard, he's going to drop the ball. So yeah, it's definitely a time to retool. That's for sure. This off season.
I'm gonna go. I mean, look, you know your team and you know him better than me, but I'm gonna just say as somebody when you start, he thought he was definitely retiring last year if you had won that third Super Bowl.
Hmm.
And I'd also say there's Troy Aikman talked about this a long time. I think it was Troy Aikman, but he's like the old adage was like once you start thinking about retirement, you're retired.
Hmm.
And I think with Mahomes' injury, with no certainty of him being, missing at least probably a good half of the season next season, and also the money he's making as a podcaster, the money he's making, he's going to make. He's
In
apparently
Hollywood,
also
yeah.
wanting to be a film actor. He's marrying the most famous person in the world. Like,
Well, one of the most richest. Yeah, I mean,
not
yeah,
even the
just
richest, but she's the she's literally outside of maybe Donald Trump and I don't know who else, but like one of the most famous people in the world. So like I think he's got other things that he now can I mean, what else has he got to prove? He won, he's
He's
the best.
this is the thing. He hasn't got anything left to prove.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah. I
doesn't.
mean,
It's just whether he's still
he
got
beat
the
Gronk.
fire if he wants to do it. Because it's all well and good saying that as well. Because he said it before. Oh yeah, I got the fire. I got the fire. But then, when it gets to the off season, you're right. When it's OTAs and you got whoever. I don't think it's going to be Gardner Minshew, but whoever the quarterback's going to be start the season.
Kirk
Um,
Cousins is going to be available.
huh?
we got a couple.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel.
He's
Can
going
I
to be
get mentioned?
cheap.
I mean, what do you think about giving us Kyle Pitts, Chet?
Hell
Why
no.
why would you want
We are
why,
tagging him. I'm
why do
sorry.
you want Kyle Pitts when you don't know when to throw him the ball? Like,
Yeah. All I've heard is how Kyle Pitts is going to the Chiefs all year. I'm like, he's getting
I
tagged.
know. I keep hearing this as well.
We have no one else to catch the ball besides Drake London. He is getting tagged for that 14 million. We're keeping that dude. I'm sorry, he's staying, especially after he just basically had the best game that any tight end's ever had in fucking, what, 30 years.
and
So
you
No,
you
I
kept
would say one last thing on this one in terms of the kind of not the front office, but in terms of Andy Reid and the play calling and stuff like that. Something needs to change. Some fresh ideas need to come in because it's got stale. People have figured out what is happening, and I think that involves one of I don't know who it's going to be. The offensive coordinator, whether it's Matt Nagy, whatever. Someone
hopefully
needs to
not
go.
Mad Nagy.
Hmm?
Oh, sorry. So I thought you were saying to stay. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Yes, Matt Nagy needs to go.
As in fire Matt Nagy
Yeah. Oh,
because
100%.
Mahomes has had like 27 touchdowns as his max since Matt Nagy's been the offensive coordinator. So yeah.
20, that must be nice. I think the last person to get 27 for the Browns was Baker Mayfield in 2018. No, yeah, you need to fire. I think all of the coordinators. You're obviously not going to fire Randy Reid. That's obviously not going to happen. But you don't need to just fire them. You need to bring someone in that can challenge Andy Reid, as you said, because
That's exactly what it is.
it gets a bit stale, and I think that's been the biggest problem. But massive off season ahead for the Chiefs.
Yeah. And anyone saying that Andy Reid is not going to be the head coach of the Chiefs is chat shit. So.
Well, maybe he retires. I think that's the only way. Don't get me wrong; he wouldn't be sacked, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just one year went. You know what? How old is he now?
68.
68.
67, 60? Yeah,
I mean,
68.
At what point do you go?
Or
What's
he'll be 68.
how long do I want to keep doing this?
true.
But yeah, first time the Chiefs have not made the playoffs since 2014, I believe.
2014. And one other thing on the Mahomes ACL, which is insane, is that both Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady lost the Super Bowl while they both won three Super Bowls, then lost Super Bowl, and then the next season, in their ninth season, both tore their left ACL.
Well, Tom Brady was week one.
Yeah, yeah. Still though, it's
Yeah,
still
but it's
pretty
still
mad.
weird. It's still
Yeah.
Oh
very
no, no.
weird.
But what I mean by that is if Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL week one, Tom would have been in a much worse state than he was now. Because I know, I like. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, this is going to be a pretty ditty thing to say, I suppose. But I'm not saying you're going to do this, Tom. But a lot of Chiefs fans are going to spin this whole kind of like, oh well, Mahomes tore his ACL, and it's like, well, you were pretty much out of the playoffs
Yeah,
with
yeah, yeah,
Mahomes
yeah. No, I
with
will
his
not.
ACL.
I will not fight against
But
that. We
obviously,
weren't a good
yeah,
enough team to make the playoffs anyway when Mahomes was on the field.
yeah.
So I do definitely.
Like Mahomes tearing his ACL when you guys are 15-2. Oh my God. Do you know what I mean? That's like, oh my God, I literally I'm not gonna say what you know what I mean. That's literally, yeah, absolute terrible. But no, obviously it's never a good thing. There's no good way of tearing your ACL. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Let's just
I,
hope Mahomes is back playing football as soon as possible.
yeah,
Before we get into talking about contenders really quick, everyone knows I love some props. I like throwing some player bits around. As Fletch calls it, he calls it a flutter. He likes to flutter. And if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it with our friends at Fantasy Game Day app. Fantasy Game Day app is the UK's first and only NFL daily fantasy app made by UK fans for UK fans. Tom, thanks for being the one that's following me while Ollie just usually walks away. You can enter a game, you enter a lineup, you get your budget, and you keep compete against the other UK fans, or us at HTL, anyone, content creators, anyone else, fans, whatever. You can go from £2 to £25, whatever you want to do here. You just need to download the app, the Fantasy Game Day app. Pretty easy. Sign up. And if you use our promo code, which is Hurdle, HRDLE, that's Hurdle without the U because
there's no herd of the line without you.
hey-oh, then you get a nice little 750 in your little pot of free bets, and it helps support our show, and everybody's happy. 18 and up, gamble responsibly. Guys, I had two fantasy playoff games this week, lost both of them. All this work all year. But luckily, I know you guys were going to ask, I'm still in my big money league because it is a record only league. There is no playoffs. It is best record like the Premier League at the end. So we will see. I'm still in the mix there. There's like 6 teams within. I will keep you updated.
I think you're still in the mix in my league as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I, I'm
you're into the
I'm still in the
semi-finals.
mix, still in the mix in mine because if you never rent it, you can never lose. So
God bless you, Ollie. I love it. All right, guys, we're gonna play a little exercise. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say a team. We're gonna do an easy one right off the bat, and I don't want you guys to think. I just want you to respond immediately if this team can win the Super Bowl. Okay? So I will say we're gonna start with the easiest team I can think of, and I want to see if you guys agree. And like we're just gonna see where we get to. So I'm gonna do a really easy one. All right, ready? Three, two, one. Rams.
Yes.
yeah,
Okay. Just remember that Ollie's going to be about 2 seconds behind us. All right, here we go. Broncos.
Begrudgingly, yes.
It's a yes or no
yes,
question. Broncos.
yes, which
All
is
right.
there in the AFC.
All right. Here we go. The Philadelphia Eagles.
No.
It's not you got 5 seconds.
No, no.
Oh, all right. Why do we not think the Eagles can win the Super Bowl?
Because they
Um,
can't put it all together. They can't run the ball and they
because
will
they
get bounced by a better team.
because they put a positivity rabbit in their locker room and it lasted 1 week and they took it out. That's literally the only. That's all I need. That's all I need to say.
I'm going to
Yeah.
say their offense is broken. I don't think Jalen Hurts, whatever he had with this team, the chemistry of this team is just broken, I think. And I don't think the defense is playing well enough to
And
get,
Saquon Barkley is a shell of his former self.
yeah, over the top. So I would agree with you guys. But I still think they had the talent on the roster to win. I just don't think they have the charisma. All
That's
right.
why I hesitated because there
Yeah.
any given
Good.
Sunday,
No. Well, let's just go with your heart, your gut right now. It's like 3 second response because I this is what the exercise is
I
about.
also
All right.
don't think Nick Sirianni's that good of a head coach, but
Well, they still win despite him. All right, here we go. New England Patriots.
no.
no.
I'm gonna go yes. Why do you guys say no?
I just wanted to be spicy, to be honest.
No, it's fine.
They probably are, but young quarterback, team arriving early. How many times do we see it?
I don't like their run defense either. I don't like their defense in general, really. So I will go no.
Um, did I say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Here's what I would say. I think they have the talent. My only thing with them is I think they think their farts don't stink. And I think that's my biggest issue with watching that game. And I think they got they were up, and as soon as the Bills started punching back, they shrunk a little bit, I thought. But
They've not really had any game
no.
this year where they've had
But
to
I
actually
mean,
pull
dude,
their
my
trousers
team
up.
should have beat them in New England, but we haven't. And I don't say that as like, oh, like like go watch that game, man. They
Yeah,
should
yeah.
have won that game. Like it was Raheem Morris's fucking cowardice that Anyway, but all props to them. They won the game.
They have been playing a bunch of tomato cans other than the Bills, though, to be
So
fair.
yeah. All right. Cool. All right. We're gonna do a few more guys. Holly, you good for a few more
Yeah,
minutes?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Chicago Bears.
No.
Yeah, you know
I'm
what?
going yes too.
I'm gonna go ultimate hot take. I just said no for the Patriots. I'm gonna go yes for the Bears because I believe in Caleb Williams. If you have a quarterback, you have a chance. I believe Caleb Williams is a legitimate quarterback any given day. If his talent shows, it shows. And I believe in Ben Johnson as well. I
Agreed.
believe he is one of the better young coaches in the NFL, one of the best play callers, offensive play callers on the NFL. I mean, I just watched this guy play against my team, and this guy was coaching circles around the Browns. It's just night and day how good this guy is. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, why not?
I agree with you. I think coaching and you have a quarterback that can do it. I mean, this whole idea that a second year quarterback can't win a Super Bowl. I'm looking at you, Tom. And it's been done in NFL history of the time. I think they've got a lot of talent on that team.
I
All right.
think I think no, just because I've seen defenses like this that get a bunch of interceptions, but when it comes to Jan,
30.
those don't always work.
Yeah, but you know what? You ride the wave for that season. That's all I would say. But you're right. I mean, make the Super Bowl, but I think they can do. I think they can be there. All right, here we go. Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah. All right. We don't have to discuss that.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Just because of Josh Allen, I don't
Yeah,
trust John McDermott or the rest
Yeah.
of the
I don't
team.
trust
Josh Allen.
anything else on that team than
And
Josh Allen.
if
Yeah.
the Chiefs weren't having their season and the Chiefs were having their normal season and we're in the playoffs, I would have said no. But because the Chiefs are out, yeah, I'm gonna go yeah.
We're gonna do. We're gonna go two more rounds each way. So, but we gotta do one more on the NFC here.
Yep,
Seattle.
yep,
Yes,
Oh, really?
yep.
that defense is championship caliber defense.
Coach, one of the best
So you don't
coaches.
think Sam Darnold is a liability?
Possibly, but I don't think he needs to be.
He doesn't need to be Superman with the way this defense plays.
Yeah, I feel like he can do enough, and I feel like he has the talent level to do enough.
So basically, it's coach, quarterback, defense. And if you have two of three, you guys agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay. Hmm. I'm gonna say no on Seattle. They obviously have the wide receiver. They do have the defense. Uh,
and
I,
they've been missing a lot of pieces. Like they've been doing a lot of this whilst like a lot of their key guys are out. Like if they can get healthy. Sorry, Chapman, to cut you off, but that was just my
no,
final point. Yeah,
this is what
just
the point of this argument.
if they can get healthy at the right time and continue this good form, that's why I believe in them.
I feel dumb now because I realized I've been thinking about this exercise all day, and I should have called it contenders pretenders, or we should have like this is why we're not, we're amateurs, but we're going to be professionals. That's
Yep.
why we're
I,
getting there.
I would also say with Seattle, I saw them play the Rams and Sam Darnold threw like had one of his worst games and they still only lost by three. Like this is how good this defense is to me.
Yeah.
So
I just think Darnold over the last couple of weeks, man, I'm starting to, and look, this is not an anti-Darnold thing. I just, but the running game is still not quite as good as it should be,
Yeah.
even with those talent with
I'd
Walker
agree
and
with that. Yeah.
Charbonnet. And, you know, as somebody who watched a team with one phenomenal wide receiver for years, sometimes it's just not enough, but we'll see. Here's one that I kind of think we're all going to be agreed on, but I want to see Houston Texans.
No.
I'm I'm saying yes.
I'm a yes. I'm a huge yes.
Yeah, I'm a yes.
I think you could ride, dude. You can do a Eagles 2017 and ride this daggum defense all the way to the daggum Super
Especially
I
the way that CJ Stroud's been playing recently. I just think,
Bowl.
yeah,
All you have to do is beat the
I could
Bills.
see. I've already seen this team, win playoff games with arguably a worse team. So yeah,
Bro, they haven't won a playoff games with this offensive line and this amount of deficiency. I think this is the worst version of them to make the playoffs in the last 3 years, in my opinion. And
But again, the thing is, some teams that get to the Super Bowl are the ones that get hot at the right time, and
yeah, and don't get me
I
yeah,
feel like that too. That's
and
what I
don't
yeah.
get me wrong, like I should probably say yes for every single team in the AFC that makes the playoffs
Mm.
because of what's happened this year with how it's shaped up in the AFC in the playoffs. But that would have been boring.
Yeah,
So that's
yeah.
why I'm not going to do that. But like in reality, any team that makes the playoffs in the AFC has a chance to go to the Super Bowl. It's one of those years. But actual contenders, like in my mind, in a vacuum, nah, I don't think they're just too deficient across the board, like across the board.
I'm putting them on the list because there's two or three. This is our last one. And I'm sorry,
Cleveland
it's our
Browns.
last NFC team. Green Bay Packers.
See,
Okay, I'm gonna say yes.
that is. Can I go like judgment impending? I mean, that
No, you
is
got to make an
hard,
opinion. I'm
bro.
saying
Because
yes.
I'm
Because
saying
I,
yes,
I
even
I
without
think
the
Matt
injuries.
LaFleur is one of the
Yeah.
best coaches in the NFL. I
oh
think
no,
Jordan Love can play like a top 10 quarterback. And I think that defense, we got to see what it looks like without Micah.
I'm going no.
Unfortunately, yeah, but that's the thing. But you got 2.5. And I feel like that's
I'm going yes because the last 2 years I think I picked the Packers to either like make the NFC Championship. So
Well, this was the one year you didn't, so you
I
should be
know
allowed. Yeah,
this is the one year I didn't, right?
I no, I think that losing Micah Parsons is so big, and my biggest reason why I'm saying no is because this team ain't beating the Rams, and if you're not beating the Rams, you're not a
Mm,
contender in the NFC, in my opinion.
fair enough.
I do
So
with that.
no,
I
no,
do
no
with
for
that.
me. But just they would have been if they were at full health, 100%.
We'll do one last one just for fun because it's good content.
Yeah,
Fletch, get the TikTok camera on.
definitely,
As Bill
definitely the
Simmons
Cleveland
likes to say.
Browns. I'm assuming.
No,
No,
this is
oh, right, okay,
the Jacksonville Jaguars.
no.
No.
There's a team you haven't said that I'm like. I know they're not currently in the playoffs, I suppose, but like just because of pod, I thought you'd have said it just for if you were talking content.
Who am I missing?
To one of the teams that of one of
Ravens?
ours.
Oh, the Lion. No, the Lions defense just. I want to see him in the playoffs.
Yeah, I want to see him in the
I
playoffs
don't think
too,
they
but
could. I just don't think this. We've seen too much evidence now. That's no disrespect to our
Oh,
wonderful
that's fair.
team.
Yeah, no, that is fair.
It's not an anti-Lions
I
thing.
I've got a wild card one, and they're
Well,
currently not in a playoff spot, just virtue of a tiebreaker. But I feel like if the Ravens get in, and
Berserker, they're the Berserker team.
if they can just get in, just figure, I don't care how they do it, but just get in. And as we said earlier about with how the AFC has shaped up, Lamar Jackson would be the number one, number two, depending on who you ask, best quarterback in the playoffs in the AFC. You've got that. Granted, they haven't got the coach. That their defense can turn up when they want to. I feel like if they can just get into the playoffs and just get a little bit healthy, I feel like they could be a wild card.
We called it the Berserker team.
I
That's
don't. I personally don't see it because I just don't think Lamar is healthy, and I don't think he's just gonna miraculously get
He's
healthy before the
he's he's
playoffs.
got 5 weeks to clear up on that ankle. It's looking better each week. He's looking
Yeah,
like he's moving more each week. Oh, that's
but
what I
again,
mean.
if they do get there, then the Bills are there again. So it's like, and the Bills are their kryptonite. So
True, but the Bills are just as deficient as the Ravens are, in my
mm,
opinion, and
especially in defense. Yeah,
especially in defense. They also I don't have any faith in their head coach, so that would purely come down to quarterback versus quarterback. And you guys know me, I have that much belief in Lamar Jackson. I believe that if on his day he can be the best quarterback in the NFL. So
yeah, I agree.
I I yeah, I'm gonna have them as my wild card team.
Nice.
well,
Which
guys.
and I'm saying this as a Browns fan, but I should be hating this team. They stole my team.
I'm gonna put Ravens on there too. So let's so we have Rams, Broncos, Bears, Bills, Seahawks, Texans, Packers. That's two of at least two of three that we agree on.
Yeah,
There was only two unanimous, which I think were the Rams and the Bills. Everybody else was it was two for one. And then we have our wild card team, which is the Ravens.
Yeah.
Um, there's no one in the NFC that I mean, outside of the Packers, but I just think I don't know. I wouldn't.
Do we not think that Kyle Shanahan,
yeah.
Brock
This is the
Purdy,
one thing I think,
and
man.
the
The 49ers are
and the
just sneaking
Amazon
there, man. They're
the
just
Amazon
Oh
workers that he's
man,
got playing?
nothing would make me less happy in the world. Nothing.
I mean,
Because the 49ers, if the 49ers get the Super Bowl, just go ahead and crown the AFC. Just
in
they
crown
were
them.
my pick.
in Santa Clara as well, in their home stadium.
I
Oh,
Tom, how funny would it be that I picked them to make the championship game? Their whole team falls apart. They have Amazon workers out there playing for them, and
Yeah,
they somehow still make the Super Bowl. That would be quite funny.
Amazon
that
workers.
They
would be
just
fun.
keep winning. They just keep
They
winning
do.
games.
They do.
This has been another amazing review week, Prod. I mean, it just keeps getting better, guys. I mean, we are a machine at this point. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you to super producer Fletch. As always, do you want to come on and say anything, Fletch? Good.
It's like when your family friends around and you got to get the kid to come say goodbye to them when they're leaving. Fletch, you got to come say goodbye to Auntie Jane.
No, I'm playing with my toys over here. I'm not going single pass, so you can come over it. No, I don't know if there's anything to add. You've all done and
I'm
said everything. This is why you are the team that you are, because you said everything so perfectly yourself.
no, I'm actually sad that Fletch didn't in the pregame meeting mention the Irish kicker for the Saints. I feel like that was like
Yeah,
that's
that
like
definitely should have been
there's
on the
so many
list.
like Venn diagrams of why that would be his thing. And by the way, I'm sad I didn't think about it. I mean, that's like the only good thing the Saints have done in their lives. Not an Irish kicker. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing to see. It really, really is. And I know we mentioned it last week. I'm pretty sure we did. But to see the pub in Mailbridge, that in the little town that he's from, just going crazy every week is amazing. And I saw literally actually to prefer about 10 minutes ago when I was off camera. um, I think it's RTE. The top article on their website is the article about Charlie Smith. It's so Charlie Smith is bigger than Celtic. Charlie Smith is bigger than GAA football right now. It's just such a great story.
Well,
Love
it's
it.
not hard to be bigger at Celtic at the minute.
Yeah.
There is one thing actually I think I'm disappointed in you mentioning it, not mentioning, and it's when the Cowboys Vikings and Brandon Aubrey's fake field goal, unless I missed
Mm.
it. Um,
Ah,
that
yeah.
was a fun one to watch.
Sorry, I was too busy talking about
Well, we
Liverpool.
also forgot about the two laterals, the two pick sixes this week too.
Oh yeah, the
The
one with the
lateral,
Ravens was so nice.
the handoff.
Where like
I'm
I
old.
just love it. The Carvanoy was like, I know I'm not gonna make that run, so I'm just gonna hand it off to Gilman, who runs it down the sideline.
Are we not talking
Smart.
about the one in the two, or was it three in the
Giant.
Giants game against the Commanders when the defense? That was amazing.
Didn't was it this week? Didn't Jalen Hurts have a fumble and an interception on the same play?
No, that was
Yes.
last week.
Damn
Or
it, that
that
was last
was
week,
Was
wasn't
it
it?
last
yeah,
week?
that was
It was
against the
that was chaos.
Chargers. That was insane. Five
Monday
turnovers
Night
in that
Football.
game
Yeah, a fumble and
So
interception on the same
so
play.
on the
you,
same
you are
play.
right in thinking it was not done in time for last week's episode, so
There
we
we
didn't
go.
talk about
There
it
we
last
go.
week. So I get why
Yeah.
that's a
Cheers, mate.
um
Appreciate you
By the
sticking.
way, I'll just go ahead and apologize to our listeners who probably showed up and were like, "Where's Chapman? Why is he every other week?" My wife got us tickets to see Die Hard 2 in the theater in Central London, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies. How's the
Not a
same
Christmas
thing happen
movie,
to the
but
same guy twice?
um
more
I
than
think
fair.
the only other
You
thing
pissing
where
in somebody's pool again? Yeah, and I'm all out of chlorine. Fucking just classic. It is classic 90s.
Brilliant.
I think the only other
Shout
thing
out to
worth
Bruce Willis. Love that guy. Great
the
guy.
only other thing worth saying, I think from my point of view, is obviously my name was mentioned a couple of minutes ago, when sarcastically, which is just so disrespectful, the Detroit Lions were brought up in the Super Bowl conversation, but
Was that
um
sarcastic?
no, not by you,
Oh.
but there was a joke.
Oh, then it was Ollie.
Listen, I saw the smirk. I know there was some sarcasm in bringing that name up, and I'm just hoping we make the playoffs. I don't think we do make the playoffs, and definitely not contenders.
I
Um,
was always
the
being all seriousness.
the Legion of Whom is not it is not cutting it at this moment in time. They hung about with the Rams for one half of football, but couldn't
Yeah,
do it for two.
yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm not being
That is a
funny,
great
but
name, by the way. The Legion of Whom. That is
yeah,
a
I
good
heard
one.
it first and thought, oh, that's really disrespectful. But they were playing really well, and I thought that's really disrespectful. Funny, but disrespectful. And then like I'm over it. It's the Legion of Whom, and it's just not. They hung around for one half of the Rams, but you watch what happens when you play a real team. You can play against them for one half of football, but you can't play against them. You can't do that to Puka Nakua all game. You can't
Hmm.
do that. I know Devontae Adams went out. You can't do that to Devontae Adams. You can't do that to Matt Stafford either. If there's one player I'm familiar with in this league, it is Matthew Goddamn Stafford and just how bloody good he is. So,
I don't know why you gotta do it with the GD and
so
you don't.
it was just I don't think they're making the playoffs, and that's absolutely fine. I've seen much worse seasons from us,
It's
so
okay. The
I'm
Bills
okay
are
with it.
winning the Super Bowl this year, so don't worry about it.
And the Cleveland Browns are there, the number one overall pick. Let's
Let's
go.
go. Let's
Sorry, by the
go.
way, I just realised what you said. I'll do that. Matthew Daggum Stafford. There we go.
Why don't we hurdle that guy?
No, we're not hurting the dad.
But not, we are not hurdling that jump.
I mean, I do say dad gum, and you don't judge me for it, Ollie.
No.
Um, guys, like I said, blockbuster episode. If you've made it this far, God bless you. And I'm just gonna say, we're hurdling those hopes and dreams.
That was adorable.